money is on Blake Lively being wrong. All right, you guys, it is Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni day. Finally. I've been teasing that all week. And let me just say to all of the women out there that are watching, no matter what you do in life, you never, ever, ever go full Amber Heard.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice.
Rumors continue to swirl as leaks drip steadily into the media, and yet another dramatic twist grips the ever-spinning celebrity news cycle surrounding Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal battle. The dispute, already notorious for its tangled accusations and surprising revelations, has now taken an unexpected turn with the involvement of political commentator Candace Owens. Known for her sharp and often incendiary views on politics rather than Hollywood scandals, Owens shocked many by stepping into the feud with claims that the conflict might not be rooted solely in professional disputes, but also in something far more personal. According to her, Blake Lively may once have harbored deeper feelings for Baldoni, feelings he never reciprocated. This idea of a one-sided attraction fueling hostility cast the lawsuit in a new, more complicated light, raising questions about whether personal emotions were at the heart of what the public assumed was merely an industry clash. Just when it seemed the courtroom drama had reached its peak, Owens introduced a narrative that made observers reconsider everything they thought they knew. Her assertions suggest the possibility of romantic sparks behind the scenes, turning what had been seen as a legal fight into a saga tinged with unrequited emotions. Some speculate Owens might have stumbled upon insider chatter or private documents that emboldened her claims, while others see her sudden entry into the gossip cycle as a calculated strategy to keep her own name circulating in the headlines. Whether her statements are based on evidence or mere whispers, their impact is undeniable. Once the notion of Lively's rumored feelings for Baldoni entered the conversation, the storyline grew far more layered and intriguing. If, during collaborative projects or private professional gatherings, Lively did in fact develop an attachment that Baldoni refused, such rejection could explain the sharp intensity and emotional extremes that have defined the public dispute. Of course, skeptics argue that Owens may simply be repeating unsubstantiated talk to stir attention. Yet, the potency of the rumor remains difficult to dismiss. In a conflict already clouded by allegations of manipulation and shifting narratives, the possibility of personal longing and unreturned affection complicates matters in ways few could have predicted, raising the stakes not only for Lively's public image but also for Baldoni's next moves, in the court of law and in the court of public opinion.
As that Blake was determined to make him the real-life villain in her story because she wasn't doing well on the promo tour for the movie. It was very tone deaf. Her hair care line wasn't doing well. She was trying to sell booze while talking about domestic violence. Justin says the war between himself and Blake really started in May 2023 when they started shooting the movie. He claims that she was organizing a takeover strategy.
The moment Candace Owens' words began circulating, viewers across social media erupted, sparking a tidal wave of debate that further fueled the already volatile Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni saga. Some dismissed Owens outright, arguing that she thrives on bold, attention-grabbing statements without presenting hard proof. Yet others speculated that her massive following could redirect public curiosity toward investigating whether Lively's rumored attraction truly played a role in shaping the lawsuit. If Lively was indeed smitten and Baldoni refused to reciprocate, it could reframe her courtroom strategies entirely, suggesting an emotional motive beneath the legal maneuvers, a possibility that has captured the imagination of fans hungry for clarity in this ever-evolving drama. What made the moment more shocking was how casually Owens dropped the hint, sliding it into an online discussion that had initially focused on celebrity hypocrisy before veering toward the Baldoni-Lively conflict, where she suggested the feud might not stem purely from professional disagreements, but from something deeply personal. Audiences watching the live stream were left stunned, asking themselves whether one of Hollywood's most polished and recognizable stars could have secretly fallen for a collaborator, only to be met with rejection that later fueled hostility. The immediate question became, what is Owens' evidence? To date, she has offered no direct proof, no incriminating messages or testimonies from staffers who might have witnessed flirtatious encounters. Instead, she has cited unnamed insiders, claiming several individuals on the edges of Baldoni's circle relayed the story to her, an approach that only deepens doubts about the rumor's credibility. Yet, in today's culture of relentless gossip consumption, Owens' sheer confidence in her information was enough to grab attention and dominate online conversations. Reactions quickly polarized. Detractors accused her of opportunism, insisting she seized on the lawsuit to stay relevant by tossing fuel on an already raging fire, while supporters applauded her for daring to voice what many considered a forbidden suggestion that Lively's relentless pursuit in court might be powered not by professional pride, but by personal rejection. The possibility alone, however unverified, disrupts the carefully curated image Lively has maintained for years, one that deliberately avoids messy or emotional controversies. As whispers of unrequited affection circulate, each mention of a secret love angle only heightens the public's appetite for a salacious twist. Regardless of whether Owens was simply stirring the pot or genuinely passing along insider information, her revelation has reshaped the conversation, pushing the lawsuit into even murkier and more captivating territory.
Dear Judge Lyman, as counsel for Wayfarer Studios LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us Movie LLC, Melissa Nathan, the Agency Group PR LLC, and Jennifer Abel, collectively the Wayfarer parties, we write to advise the court of an issue that the Wayfarer parties wish to address at the upcoming conference on Monday, February 3rd, 2025.
What began as a courtroom battle over alleged sabotage and broken contracts has now expanded into murkier territory, with speculation about personal heartbreak creeping into the narrative, largely fueled by Candace Owens' claims that Blake Lively may have secretly developed feelings for Justin Baldoni. According to Owens' vague but provocative remarks, Lively's interest allegedly went far beyond lighthearted banter, stretching into a desire for something more meaningful. The rumor suggests that tension began simmering when Baldoni committed to professionalism, declined her advances, and insisted on maintaining clear boundaries, setting the stage for friction that might later have spilled into the legal arena. For fans who have long viewed Lively as one half of a stable Hollywood power couple, publicly devoted to her well-known partner, the very notion of wandering emotions feels sensational, even scandalous. Did she truly attempt to cross the line with Baldoni, or is this narrative nothing more than a wild invention crafted to stoke gossip? Those inclined to believe Owens insist there were subtle but telling signs of chemistry between the two during production meetings or shared projects. Fleeting gazes, an unusual warmth in their interactions, and a dynamic that felt richer than typical co-worker camaraderie. But if Baldoni indeed sensed the possibility of blurred boundaries, he appears to have firmly shut it down, unwilling to let personal entanglements interfere with career obligations. Supporters of this theory argue that rejection could have left Lively frustrated, with unfulfilled emotions evolving into animosity, thereby fueling the lawsuit with an intensity that seemed out of proportion for a purely professional dispute. Yet skeptics remain unmoved, pointing out that Lively's brand has always been built on family values, philanthropy, and carefully cultivated charm, making the notion of an unreciprocated crush hard to reconcile. They argue that if such a private drama had been unfolding behind the scenes, tangible signs like leaked messages or reports from close staffers would surely have surfaced earlier. Still, observers can't ignore that from the very beginning. The Baldoni-Lively case has been clouded by missing details and unspoken motives, making the idea of a hidden emotional subplot tempting to consider as the puzzle piece that explains the drama's extremes. Fans online are sharply divided. Some cite Lively's occasional emotional outbursts at public events and rumored behind-the-scenes tension as circumstantial evidence of deeper feelings, while others fiercely defend her reputation, dismissing the whispers as nothing more than tabloid fantasy. What makes the rumor so jarring is precisely that Lively has rarely, if ever, been connected to personal scandals. Her reputation for polished public appearances, lighthearted humor on social media, and philanthropic work has long shielded her from such speculation. If there is truth to the allegations, it threatens to erode the carefully maintained image of an untouchable Hollywood sweetheart. Adding fuel to the fire is Lively's silence. She has made no public comment on Owens' claims, not even a cryptic post to diffuse speculation. This quiet, unusual for someone so media-savvy, has only intensified curiosity. Some theorize her legal team is working behind the scenes to keep personal angles from overshadowing the official case, which ostensibly revolves around financial dealings and professional disagreements. Others believe she is simply ignoring what she views as baseless chatter. Yet, in today's climate, silence often amplifies speculation rather than quells it, with critics interpreting her lack of response as potential fear of an emotional unraveling if pressed publicly. On fan forums, conversations flip between loyal defenders insisting she's not the type to do that, and curious onlookers convinced the lawsuit's business drama may be a smokescreen for something far more personal. Lively's long-standing PR strategy of maintaining breezy composure is being put to its toughest test yet, and whether that poise holds may determine how this saga ultimately shapes her public legacy.
Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully. That Justin Baldoni, ultimately, by the time they got to the premiere, was mandated by Blake Lively to spend the night in the basement away from his co-stars and didn't even get to see the final cut of his own movie because Blake Lively insisted that she be the one to...
The allegations of Blake Lively's supposed behind-the-scenes longing for Justin Baldoni clash sharply with her carefully cultivated public image, and now a central tension hovers over the unfolding narrative. Should she remain silent in hopes the rumor fades, or address it head-on at the risk of amplifying scrutiny? That dilemma underscores the high stakes of this moment, because whichever route she takes could fundamentally reshape how the lawsuit is interpreted by the public. If there is truth to suggestions of hidden feelings, one pressing question becomes, how is Baldoni himself responding? So far, he has issued no grand pronouncement to either support or refute Candace Owens' bombshell claim. To some, his silence appears strategic, a way of preserving an aura of professional courtesy while ensuring that the legal proceedings remain tethered to their official claims rather than spiraling into a spectacle of personal scandal. By refusing to dignify the rumor, he arguably strengthens his legal position, keeping a focus on tangible evidence rather than emotional narratives. Yet with each day that passes without clarification, the rumor snowballs unchecked, growing louder precisely because it is not confronted. Observers point to Baldoni's conspicuous politeness toward Lively, even amid mounting lawsuit tensions. Moments of courtesy that some fans interpret as guilt, empathy, or perhaps an awareness of feelings gone sour after rejection. Others, however, argue these gestures reflect nothing more than Baldoni's reputation as a consummate professional committed to keeping his composure regardless of circumstances. In the speculative culture of celebrity gossip, even a fleeting glance at a public event or a polite exchange online is dissected as potential evidence. Feeding the fire, Owens ignited. Industry watchers suggest that if Baldoni ever did present evidence of unwanted advances, it could dramatically shift the power balance of the case, casting Lively's claims in an emotional rather than factual light. Conversely, if his silence stems from a refusal to humiliate her publicly, that restraint could signal he is far from the opportunist some critics portray. Ironically, his refusal to engage is what keeps the story alive. In the absence of his perspective, the vacuum fills with every imaginable theory, fueling not just the rumor, but also public obsession with the case itself. For Lively, the consequences are particularly sharp, since what was once framed strictly as a matter of creative disputes, contractual breakdowns, or alleged manipulations is now colored by the possibility of unreciprocated romance. Even the suggestion of heartbreak as a hidden motive elevates the stakes, raising questions about whether personal resentment seeped into her legal strategies and possibly drove moves that from the outside appeared rash or disproportionate. Every meltdown rumor at a public event or whisper of behind-closed-doors tension is now being re-examined through this new lens, deepening the sense that the battle runs far deeper than business alone. In legal terms, the blending of personal grievances with professional claims creates fertile ground for Baldoni's attorneys, who may seize the opportunity to frame her case as emotionally charged rather than rooted in objective fact. Whether or not the rumor holds water, its mere existence has reconfigured the lawsuit's landscape, intensifying scrutiny of both stars and leaving the public hungrier than ever for answers.
And that's part of the point that Justin's team is making in kind of complying with what they're viewing as threats made on her behalf against Justin is like, well, there's this financial consequence to everything in addition to the strike consequences too, right? So they filmed May to June, then shut down for the strike, and then they were down until January. But I think the strike lifted in November, but then she had all these return to work provisions.
Blake Lively's legal team now faces the uphill task of containing the firestorm, scrambling to keep any reference to an alleged secret crush on Justin Baldoni out of official filings by insisting it is irrelevant, unprovable, and entirely speculative. Yet, the rumor itself threatens to undermine her credibility if a judge, mediator, or even the broader public suspects, her reasons for pressing forward with the lawsuit, are tainted by personal disappointment rather than professional grievances. On the flip side, if the rumor is demonstrably false, Lively's lawyers could weaponize it to discredit Candace Owens or any other voices pushing the narrative, painting it as an opportunistic smear designed to distract from the actual legal claims. Regardless of which interpretation prevails, the gossip has magnified an already sensational case, turning it from a high-profile industry dispute into a saga that mixes legal complexity with the irresistible pull of romantic intrigue few stories grip audiences as strongly as whispers of hidden heartbreak. And in this instance, even unverified speculation has proven enough to hijack headlines, pull fans into endless debates, and pressure both parties into navigating not just the courtroom, but also the ever harsher court of public opinion. As entertainment journalists, gossip bloggers, and armchair analysts fan the flames, the lawsuit is increasingly in danger of morphing into a public spectacle neither Lively nor Baldoni can fully contain, no matter how carefully they spin the narrative. On social media, users dissect past interviews, red carpet moments, and behind-the-scenes footage, scouring for any hint of awkward glances, tension, or longing body language that could substantiate the theory that Lively once harbored unreciprocated affection. Memes mock the contrast between her carefully polished public image as a devoted partner and philanthropist and the salacious possibility that she risked her stability for an elusive connection with a colleague. Meanwhile, Candace Owens basks in the attention, doubling down in follow-up remarks and suggesting, without specifics, that more details could come to light if people stop ignoring what she calls the bigger picture. Critics call her vague assertions opportunistic, yet her confidence keeps the rumor alive, feeding audiences who are only too eager to speculate. Some watchers find it easy to imagine that Lively's outward composure masks hidden vulnerabilities, while others argue that a star celebrated for her serene domestic life and unshakable family image would never jeopardize her reputation over an unreturned infatuation. Predictably, tabloids seize on the narrative with sensational headlines proclaiming "lovelorn." Lively and Baldoni shrugs off secret crush, leaving tales where the lawsuit becomes overshadowed by whispers of heartbreak. Each headline, podcast, and late-night joke amplifies the story's reach, drawing in even casual observers who were only vaguely aware of the case before Owens injected a romantic, subplot entertainment podcast speculate whether the lawsuit is merely the surface-level manifestation of a deeper, more personal conflict, while satirical commentators lampoon the very idea, warning that in Hollywood, every scandal is more smoke than fire. Still, the question lingers. Did Blake Lively truly develop feelings for Baldoni? And if so, did rejection sour their relationship to the point of fueling courtroom animosity? Unless Lively or Baldoni break their silence in a definitive way, the public will be left with partial truths, conflicting interpretations, and a growing archive of dissected clips and speculative posts. For Lively, ignoring the story may no longer be sustainable, as silence is increasingly interpreted as concealment, and critics argue that if she had nothing to hide, she would have issued a firm denial. For Baldoni, the decision to remain quiet could be strategic, ensuring the case remains rooted in its official claims. Yet, it also creates a vacuum filled with endless speculation. Some observers even suggest that if he possesses evidence of unwanted advances, he could eventually use it to tilt the power balance of the case in his favor, while others believe his restraint signals empathy rather than opportunism. For now, the lawsuit remains fluid, with insiders hinting that more revelations could surface from either side. Whether Baldoni ultimately acknowledges or rejects the rumor, and whether Lively decides to deny or downplay it, the damage may already be done. Because in the arena of public opinion, the storyline of secret love and unrequited heartbreak has become the dominant thread capturing hearts, clicks, and headlines. And as the drama unfolds with new twists teased by Owens and dissected by fans, one truth remains. In Hollywood, the blending of rumor and reality ensures the story is never finished, and every silence, glance, or stray comment becomes fuel for the next round of speculation.